So this is gonna be a little bit different of a video. This is gonna be interesting to do. So it is Saturday. I have not filmed at all in the past week. A lot has happened. So Saturday morning, my father came home and he runs his errands in the morning, goes down, gets coffee, gets paper, talk with his friends. Well, one of the women that works at the store that he was at suggested to him that maybe he had pneumonia and he needed to go to the hospital. Now, at this point, he barely had a voice. He still barely has a voice. But at this point, he barely had a voice at all. Had a little bit of a stuffy nose. So I take him up to the hospital on Saturday. So they decided to run some tests on him. So they did an MRI and a CAT scan, and they did think that it was pneumonia, but during the MRI, the doctor thought something looked a little funny, so she wanted to do a chest x-ray. So she did the chest x-ray. She noticed that he has a tumor in his lung, a cancerous tumor in his lung. So he had to be transferred to another hospital, a bigger hospital that could handle this type of thing. So he did not get sent to that hospital that night because they did not have a bed for him. So Sunday night, he got transferred to that other hospital that is actually an hour and a half away from where we live. My poor car, I had put about 700 miles on my car this past week. So Sunday night he makes it down there. They don't really do anything Sunday night. So Monday morning they do run a couple of tests. They did do a biopsy on Tuesday. That will tell us what kind of cancer it is and what stage it is. And we will have those results in a week to 2 weeks. So also on Tuesday, they did a neuro test to just make sure everything was okay, and the left side of his face was a little bit droopy. So Wednesday morning, they did a brain scan on him. He has no sign of stroke and no sign of the cancer spreading, which is really, really good news for all of us. So they sent him home Wednesday. He's been home since then. We are now just waiting on the results of that biopsy, and then he will be going to a local hospital 45 minutes away to start his cancer treatment. And then on top of all of that, my phone that I usually use to film on decided not to charge, and when I would plug it in, it had a very bad smell to it, like a burnt smell. So I took it up Thursday, and it needs a new charger port. They did order it, but my phone will not be back for a little while. So this whole cancer, we didn't know it was cancer. We thought he had pulled a muscle back in February, and that's what we thought this was, but this entire time it has not been. So this garden that I am currently sitting in has not gotten any attention. It is very overgrown with weeds. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to use this garden as kind of a therapy session for myself and to get this weeded out. And next year I'm going to do so much better on a garden. My father usually does everything for the garden. He's not able to this year. So next year is going to be a whole lot different for the garden. I'm going to do absolutely everything. So I'm going to film all this gardening journey and I guess therapy journey. I don't know. And come along because I've actually found this gardening, and I haven't done much, but I'm finding it very calming, very therapeutic, very relaxing. All right, so we got all this area. This here I had started to do, haven't got it done, but we got the tomatoes. All this has to be weeded, and then over here, this little one too, which isn't too bad, but this is my project for probably the next week, depending on rain. So it is Sunday. I had a very scary experience down here last night. So it was about 8:30 last night, and I was still working in the garden. It was still daylight, and all of a sudden I hear what sounded like a dog. But I'm like, there's no neighbors that close that have dogs. So I hear a howl, and I'm like, oh boy, that's not good. And then I hear 3 others join it. I booked it out of here. It was coyotes. Good thing my kids were not still down here. I was down here by myself. I was quiet. They didn't even know I was here. My kids were playing right, there's a down part of the bank, and they were what sounded like right down that bank. So that's how my night ended. So today is a very busy day. I have so much cleaning to do because we have a home health person coming in tomorrow to evaluate my dad and see if he needs their services. So I have to clean the entire house today. That is not a fun project. That is not something that I even want to do, but I know needs to be done. Ooh, oh, no, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. No! Ah! That's a spider, guys. I'm not a spider fan. He needs to go. He just majorly needs to get away from me. I have seen so much bugs in this garden. It's crazy. But like I said, I'm finding this, I think I said this yesterday, I am finding this very therapeutic. Oh, hello. Does anybody else talk to bugs or birds? Things like that. I find myself doing that now.